ating group chat. Ayan, open ang ating group chat. So kindly change your Zoom name to your nickname underscore your location. And then please say hi naman, ayan, sa mga fellow freelancers as well as business owners nyo. Okay, ayan, sabi ni Cleofe, good evening, Mami MK and sa lahat. Ayan. So please type ready kung ready na ba kayong matuto for tonight. This is our first no na AI and Automations webinar for this year. That's why super excited din kami. It's so because kagaya nga ng sinabi ko no, last year pa namin tong pinaplan. So medyo na delay na talaga ng bongga. Hindi lang medyo, delayed na talaga kami. And I still feel naman na perfect pa rin yung timing. All because everyone is already eager, no, to learn about AI automations. All because we are users na no ng ChatGPT and so many other AI tools when it comes to generative na AI no sa pag-create ng image, text, video, music no and so on. So agree ba kayo diyan na ito na talaga yung time nyo to shine when it comes to AI automations and at the same time nai-imagine niyo na, okay, kung ano yung mga pwede niyong i-automate pagdating sa operations niyo o ng client niyo, pagdating sa back-end, ika nga, okay? So, kumbaga ang daming room, when it comes to, growth and I'm personally excited 'no, para sa inyong lahat to learn about this one. So, wag na nating patagalin pa, I'd like to introduce you 'no, to our, guest expert for, tonight. We have Grace Cuevas, the co-founder and CEO of Flowhelper. So sila ang ating agency partner no sa FHMoms community pagdating dito sa AI automations and ito talaga yung expertise nila. Nakasama din natin sila sa previous na Digital Agency Owners Summit no na ginawa natin last year and si Grace din no ang ating speaker doon when it comes to AI automation. So, let's virtually clap din naman no for Grace. Ayan. So, say hi Grace sa ating chat box. Ayan. So, thank you so much sa lahat ng mga reactions nyo. So, house rule lang natin, ayan, make sure na nakamute lahat. I think we also have Ina here who's helping us in terms of moderation. Pero para lang sure, let's make it a habit no na mag-mute kung kinakailangan. And at the same time, let's use the reaction button kapag may ka-react no? And then let's make sure na na-active tayo when it comes to our chat box dahil as you can see, sobrang puno tayo. Napakaswerte nyo. Kayo yung nakapanood ng live ngayong gabi. It's 100 total, no? So, ayan. Let's all welcome Mami Grace. Hi!
Thank you, Mommy MK. Hello, everyone. Rinig
Ayan,
ba ako?
hello. Yes, we can hear you. Ready ka na ba sa ating pilot na webinar for this year?
All right. Yes, definitely ready. Matagal na tong pinaprepare natin, Mommy MK eh.
I know. Sige, let's do this. Ayun pala, Mami Grace, no, I forgot to mention. So, make sure to focus, no, in the next 30 minutes because mag-aaral tayo, no, matututo tayo ng bago. And after that, siguro mga 15 minutes, we will have a demo. So, mas talasan pa natin ng ating atensyon. And then another 15 minutes naman for Q&A. So, make sure na i-chat nyo na or ipunin nyo na lahat ng questions nyo for later's Q&A. Alright? Go ahead, Mami Grace.
Okay, thank you, Mommy MK. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on optimizing your workflow with AI automations. So, in this roughly 1 hour, 45-minute webinar, we will understand how AI automations are boosting businesses and how we, as online freelancers, can use this technology to our advantage. So we already actually made a previous webinar specifically about what AI automations are, but I will also touch a bit on some basics here para lang yung mga naka yung naka-miss ng previous na webinar can also still understand this one. So just as a quick introduction, I am Grace Cuevas, co-founder ng Flowhelper.ai, which is an AI automations agency. And I'm also a no or low code builder. So a lot ng mga tools like Airtable, Supabase, etc. Kahit Coda, Notion, ganon. And just like many of you, I started as a VA who was doing yung mga data entry job, yung mga sa Odesk, ganon. And then I slowly polished my skills by creating automations for fun na wala talagang bayad until I eventually became more comfortable with tech despite not being an engineer. So now I lead AI and automation projects and build apps using no or low code tools for clients in multiple industries with Flowhelper AI. So now that we have gotten the introductions out of the way, oh, speaking of which, I am from Bohol, so I will mix a lot of English and Tagalog. Hopefully, I won't slip into Bisaya, but I'll try to keep it between those two languages. So, why is AI automation in right now? So why is it in everyone's feeds, and why you're seeing a lot of it being mentioned by clients, etc. So first, to understand where we're going, let's take a look at where we have been. If you take a look at these four photos, so you'll see here my kalabaw, my sewing machine, my assembly line, my computer. What do they have in common? So if you take a look at these, you'll realize they're all machines. They're all machines that help humans become more efficient at work. And business growth has always been about efficiency. Machines have always played a role in making our processes more efficient. So the plow allowed one farmer to do the work of 10. Ito sa kalabaw. The sewing machine allowed one person to create hundreds of clothes in just a day or less than a day. The assembly line allowed one factory to build millions of items in a minute. And the computer put a data processor on every person's desk. And at every step, we really use a new machine to get more output with less manual effort. And today, we are at the beginning of the next great shift, which is AI. The next machine is artificial intelligence. And it is here. It is here right now. But let's be very clear about what it is and what it isn't. AI is just another machine that businesses use to speed up their processes. So it's not magic. It's not magic. It's not here to replace you. Instead, it is here to replace tasks. So that's AI. It's really intelligence. It is there to replace what humans have been doing, but not humans themselves. So here is the single most important point that I'll make today. AI alone cannot efficiently replace parts of your workflow. So think of AI a as a brain in a jar. Matalino siya, but it can't do anything. It can't check your email, it can't update your CRM or ping your team on Slack. Yung mga AI tools na ganon, those are tools na that already connect AI. But AI by itself, it's a brain in a jar. It can't really do anything unless you make it useful by incorporating it with automations. So automation comes in many forms. If you think about it, yung robots na nakikita natin sa manufacturing, for example, assembling mga chips, ganon. Kasi di ba if a human had to do that, ang hirap na makuha yung high accuracy ng pag-assemble ng chip. So dapat may robot na gumagawa nun. So a robot is an automation. Robots in manufacturing, tapos yung mga alam natin na orchestration tools like sa Zapier, Go High Level, um, yung mga internal na automations ng Airtable, ganon. And even scripts and MCPs. So you might be familiar with MCPs. That's yun yung parang ginawa siyang set of skills that can be used by AI so that it can perform the tasks you ask it to do. But all of those are automations. So you can think of automation as the plumbing, the arm and the legs that connects AI's thinking to actual business processes. And when you combine them, you don't just get a faster process, you get a transformed one. So AI plus automation equals a transformed business. And that's really where AIs are that's really where businesses are heading towards now. They want that transformation. They want more efficiency, more cost savings, more accuracy. They want to transform their business. Now, what does that mean for us? Let's get back to this very first slide I showed you. At this point in your journey as an online freelancer, saan na kayo out of these four phases? Are you still doing manual data entry tulad nitong kalabaw? Or are you an AI chatbot user na who already uses ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, etc. in your day-to-day work? So AI-enabled ka na? Or nag-level up ka na ba to someone who can make simple automation sa Zapier or sa Make or sa N8N? Or kahit gumawa ng simpleng code sa Google Apps Script? Or last, but definitely not the very least, in fact, there's more from here pa. Ikaw na ba ang gumagawa ng mga systems that fully run parts of your or your client's business? If you have attended my previous talks and webinar, you probably had a glimpse of how to go from 1 to 2, so manual to AI chatbot user, and 2 to 3, so AI chatbot user to automation specialist. But what is the difference between 3 and 4? How do you need to get to 4, di ba? Great, you already know how to automate. Pero paano ka magiging architect? How do you end up owning parts of the business? So let us think of it this way. Let's look at the differences between someone who just executes. So I'll show this slide to you ulit. Automation specialist and AI automation systems architect. The differences between the two are these. So, an automation specialist can create automations. Siya yung gumagawa sa Zapier, sa high level, etc. Siya yung nagde-develop ng tools and scripts. So, say for example, sa Google Apps script, gumagawa siya ng script to connect yung sheet mo to your docs, etc. or to your Gmail. And they think in outputs, in projects and deliverables. So, okay, kailangan ko tapusin tong isang project na to, and then I need to connect it with this other project. So, yan yung automation specialist. That's how an automation specialist thinks. And I'll admit, I was in that phase for a very, very long time. Now, ang automation architect, siya yung gumagawa ng workflows. They think in parts of how the workflows between different handoffs, ano yung processes that are happening. And then sila yung nagde-develop ng optimization. So hindi porke kayang i-automate to, dapat i-automate na siya. What if may other way pala na, baka gamit na tayo ng buong ERP instead na i-automate lahat, or gamit tayo ng AI tool instead of automating all of that. So that's what an automation architect thinks. They think in systems and in driving business value. Instead of thinking in outputs and projects and deliverables, so mga tasks which are, again, replaceable by AI, if you think about it. Instead, shift your focus to thinking in systems and in driving business value. So let me tell you now, again, specialists, even specialists, automation specialists, the ones who create automations, are at risk of being replaced by AI. In fact, it's already happening. Zapier has an AI Zap Builder feature that usually works mga 70% of the time. May mga client na, the ones who are penny pinching, ayaw mag-spend ng more, na kesyo nagagawa nila with AI, edi, bakit sila magbabayad pa for an automation specialist to build it from scratch? So may mga ganon. Now, see, automation systems architect kasi is a different story. Because they think in systems, they are more valuable to a business. Human insight is what brings value. And that's why it is more disruption proof. Of course, kailangan pa rin patuloy na mag-level up, but for the past decade or so, talagang nangingibabaw ka kung systems thinker ka. Now that we have talked about the differences between a specialist and a systems architect, let's talk about why you should aim to be an architect instead of just a specialist. So, why aim for it? Total, most of us are just happy to automate some parts of our work, to make our lives a little bit easier. But here are some major factors. And is a combination of data and also personal experience to ha. Number one, higher income. Mas mataas talaga ang masisingil mo if you can prove that your automated workflows, well, work. So most specialists get paid around $10 to $15 per hour. I think yan yung latest na nakikita ko sa mga job boards. As an automation architect, you can usually get $20 minimum. 25 is more usual, but it can get higher than that. I know someone who's being paid $60 per hour, and Philippines-based siya. Which then brings me to number two. So you will have more leverage and opportunities to grow kasi you hold the keys to the business. Not because ikaw yung gumagawa ng lahat manually, but because you hold and created the automations that are making it run. So when you automate kasi a key workflow for a client, you're creating their blueprint for success. You are the one who knows how to make that process scale, how to make the business grow. And last but not the least is the ability to cater to any kind of business. So, say for example, alam mo na that the best way to sell is to compile products in a sheet, tapos i-auto-post mo sa Twitter para may awareness, may product ka, tapos ipo-post mo everywhere. What if your next client, sabi niya, sa Facebook na lang? So, malamang hindi mo sila pipilitin na sa Twitter lang, di ba? So, dapat mag-adjust ka sa needs nila. I cannot count how many specialists I know who would rather sell the client on the platform they're used to. Uh, maraming nagsasabi client na Zapier is better, or Make is better, anything is better. No, for me, red flag yan kasi di nila iniisip ang business ng client. So, these three benefits can be gained without the title. What matters is having the mindset and discipline of an architect, of being a systems thinker. So, paano? How do these higher tier automation architects, they sound so fancy, no? But it's really just a higher mindset. How do they get to where they are? So let me tell you now that they didn't develop themselves from just watching tutorials on YouTube or experimenting on Zapier. Uh, Even taking a ComSci course, that's not how you develop automation architects. Sure, you can get there on the technical portion. You will know all the technical knowledge to produce the automation you want, or to, create the scripts that make the business run more smoothly. But what really matters, and where a lot of successful system thinkers start, is somewhere else. And that is something that all of us have the ability to think about. And that is to think about the business. They think about the business above everything else, whether that's your business or the client's business. You think about the business first instead of putting your engineer or tech hat on. Many automations and AI tools go unused or are turned off and thrown away because the specialists who developed them did not think about the business. They didn't think about how to marry the business with the technology. Hindi na iniisip how much value they're actually generating for the business, or if they're generating value in the first place. So, hindi porke you made an automation, probable na siya. And that's why automations break. That's why specialists are let go. That's why projects are prematurely terminated. It's not how you built it, it's what you didn't do before the build. You didn't think of the business. And here's the thing, whether you're an automation specialist or AI-enabled VA ka pa, kahit you're very early on in the journey, you can level up to being an automation architect, automation and systems architect. How? These are the main things that sets an architect apart. And you will hear a lot about this from actual experts, people who may not necessarily have an engineering degree, who may not have any coding knowledge. These are this is pretty much the recipe to success, guys. This is it. First, you have to design the logic before execution. So in the business world, we call this process mapping or workflow mapping. By doing proper process mapping, architects not only speak the common language of the business. So, instead of just being limited to what you use, your technical terms, you can communicate with the rest of the business. They're also more capable of understanding how the business works and which parts need AI and or automation. Because they know the logic, they can perform mga root cause analysis, value stream mapping, etc. So all those mga Lean Six Sigma principles to bridge the gap between the technology they're making and the business on the ground. Second is to understand the language of the tools. So ito yung APIs and documentation. Kasi ganito, when when an architect sees a broken automation, they already know what technically went wrong. Hindi yung hinahanap-hanap pa, nag-check pa sa Stack Overflow, or tinatanong pa si AI. That happens. I've seen specialists do that. Uh, they already know what went wrong because they have read the docs and understand the abilities and limitations of the API. And just as a quick idea on what an API is, think of it as a menu from from a restaurant na nag-order ka. So you can see ito yung available niya na mga items, ano yung mga sold out, etc. Pag wala siya sa menu, then most likely hindi yan masaserve sa'yo sa restaurant. That is what an API is for a platform. So Zapier says, hindi sa Zapier, let's say, Google Sheets says, oh, you can only subscribe to these events if may bagong row or updated row, and that's a single event lang. So you have to figure out if it's new or updated pala, or some other items like may nag-change na column. So those are the only things we can give to you. If it's something else, then we can't give it to you. So that's what an API is. That's why documentation is really important to learn and to actually read. Then third is they can build automations using the tools that fit the business. Because they understand what the business needs as well as how tools communicate, they're able to build automations on any tool that fits the business. So any tool, that's what we call tool agnostic automation. Hindi pipilitin kung anong tool ang alam mo, and you're able to adjust talaga kasi alam mo na kung ano yung basics. Alam mo yung APIs, mo yung process map, alam mo how requests work to and from orchestration tools and the tools that you're integrating with. Quick story lang nito. I once had a coworker in one of my part-time clients, pre-Flowhelper. Marunong na siyang mag-Zapier, Monday, GHL, etc. Nabigyan na nga siya ng welcome kit ng Monday eh. Pero kahit na willing yung company na mag-train sa kanya on Make or N8N, takot siya. Ayaw niya. And ang ending, ayun, stuck pa rin siya sa specialist niya na role. Limited yung pwedeng ibibigay sa kanya na work. Kasi hanggang dun lang yung gusto niyang gawin, yung kaya niyang gawin. So, kailangan talaga tool agnostic tayo, ha? Kaya kaya nating i-execute ang vision natin using what the business needs, and you're able to do what needs to get done with the tools that are available to you. Of course, pwede namang sabihan mo si client mo na, hey, mas maganda tong tool talaga na to kasi kaya niyang gawin tong kailangan natin na hindi naman kaya ng current tools natin. Pwede yan kasi that's what the business needs. Pero if you're just forcing them just because yan yung nakasanayan mo, then you are limiting yourself, you're limiting the business rate. Now that I have talked about all of these, some technical jargon and also business jargon, and I showed this to you, process mapping, APIs, tool agnostic. Let me show you how to build a workflow. A lot of this is may pinakita na ako nito sa previous na webinar, which is specifically on AI automations talaga. But this will give you a better insight on how you can further use this in your workflows talaga. So first, let me give you an idea on the structure I have been talking about. Ito yung demo natin. And say for example, this is the problem your client is facing. Order management for, let's say the name is Trash Away Management Corporation. The order management needs to manually review the company inbox for purchase order emails. So say for example, kasi usually ngayon, 'di ba, we just fill out forms to produce orders. Pero if you have ever worked with large corporations, lalo na yung mga not gonna say pero mga medium to large enterprises, a lot of them still send their orders via email. Napansin ko yan across many clients. So this happens. I know that some of you see this happen. Order management needs to manually review the company inbox for purchase order or PO emails. Then i-add nila yung purchase order to the sheet na order management sheet nila. And then mag-inform sila sa accounting to review the order details and payments. Accounting then checks the order, and if it is valid, forwards it to the fulfillment department, who will compile, ship the order, and then notify the client. So it's seen as just one process. Process lang yan for processing an order down to fulfillment. Just from here, you can see that there are multiple handoffs and steps just to process a purchase order. And you can see here, tingnan natin ha, there are multiple opportunities for optimization. So let us pick ito, yung pag-notify ng client by fulfillment. Kasi ito naman yung pinaka-important na part, diba? Like, you need to let the customer know that the order is on the way to them. So let me just change my screen share to show you my whole screen. So nakikita naman siguro ang whole screen ko. So ayun. Say for example, ito yung order management sheet natin. We have a list of the customer IDs, their emails, date ordered, yung ID, yung exactly what items got purchased, were included in the purchase order, yung subtotal, DF, address ng customer, and then for fulfillment, ito yung tracking number and kung na-ship na ba yung item. So, looking back at our problem, yun nga, the fulfillment department will need to compile, ship the order, and then notify the client. Assuming na na-compile na nila ang order and na-ship na nila, the next step for them would be to put in the tracking number, 'di ba? And then to trigger the automation, kasi kailangan naman ng trigger yung automation. Kailangan na malalaman ng automation when to actually start. May ship checkbox tayo dito, which we can use in our Zap to tell the Zap that, hey, this is a new a new trigger from fulfillment, kailangan mong isend ng email na to. I actually have a sample zap na dito kasi it can take a lot of time. Also, we only have a limited amount of time. Ang first na ginawa dito is to, of course, connect the trigger tool, which is Google Sheets. Kasi Google Sheets naman yung order management natin, di ba? You create the trigger here, and then you make sure na you selected the right app, which is Google Sheets, the correct event, which is new or updated spreadsheet row, and then tama yung account na sinelect mo. You will know na tama to kasi may kita mo yung spreadsheet sa dropdown, tapos yung worksheet natin, and then yung trigger column, which is ship. Trigger column means na whenever there's any change to this column, magti-trigger yung zap. And dito sa testing natin, we can actually get the most recent na change dito. So I believe this is the one. Let's see if may mga bagong records pa dito. Okay, so ito yon. Now, if you ever needed to test for anything else, like say for example, gusto mo na lumabas sa test is ibang customer ID or baka ibang tracking number, pwede naman. You can just click edit. Tapos, i-change mo lang yung, say for example, ito. Sa line item, baka gusto mong gawing 110 kasi sabi nila, dapat mas mahal for that client. Whatever reason, it will show up as a modified record that you can use. So, gamitin natin yan. Yung next na action na nilagay ko dito is yung filter by Zapier. So, gumawa ako ng filter dito kasi si new or updated sheet row, regardless of if yung trigger column was actually checked or not. So, di ba yung ship natin dito is either check or blank. In technical terms, this would be a true or false. So, true siya if naka-check siya and false if wala. The thing is, it will keep triggering kahit even if you just unchecked it, mag-trigger siya. So you need to filter in only those that have true, that have been checked. Kailangan naka-filter yan or else mag-run to kahit na wala namang naka-ship pa. And that's a bad thing to do. You need to make sure na tama yung flow na ginagawa mo dito. Another thing pala dito, you can also add, kasi if you take a look here, may tracking number tayo, di ba? You can also include na dapat may laman si tracking number. So, choose tayo na field, tracking number. The tracking number, and pwedeng text, pwedeng, it will always exist. Yan yung thing here. So, text does not exactly match blank. Para sure tayo na may laman si tracking number. Okay, test nga natin kung tama ba to filter na ginawa natin. Okay. So, dahil naka-check yung ship and may laman yung tracking number, it will pass through, which is what we want. So here we have another step, which is using AI by Zapier. So, ina-analyze niya and return yung data. Ang reason na nilagay ko to dito is because sa email, gusto ko maglagay ng order details. Kaso, if you take a look here, medyo yung line items are not easy to read. If you look here, ito yung marami sila. So, that's tough to read for a customer. Gusto natin naka-bullet points siya. So what I did was I selected a model. I added input fields. So ito si line items. And then, gumawa ako ng prompt. Actually, for the prompt here, I just selected improve prompt. Gumawa lang ako sabi ko lang sa kanya na create a bullet point list from this text. Kasi mahirap talaga siyang basahin. And from this, actually, ina-output niya ito. So, ito yung bullet line items. And this format is probably strange to many of you who don't know HTML, but this is how we create lists, bulleted lists sa HTML. HTML is the language of, not a language, it's actually more of, it is a markup language for mga website. And sa email, it's what you use to make it look better. So, ito yung line items natin, pinagawa natin kay AI. And then finally, yung last step is to actually send the email. Kasi sabi nga sa problem, ino-notify si client. Dito sa order management sheet natin, may email tayo ng client. So, ito, customer email. And that is what we will use to send the email. So, dito sa email, send email action natin, which is via Gmail. Kinonect ko na siya to my Gmail account. Make sure to select yung to and yung correct na email ng customer. So, ito ha, this is how you select it. You just go to the source of that data. So, ito yung source mo, number 1. And then, customer email. Tapos, you can select which inbox it comes from. Usually, automatic lang to based on what you selected. Pwede mo lagyan ng special na name in case itong email na to nakakonect is being used by different teams. So, pwede mo lagay na trash away fulfillment. Yung reply to, you can also set this in case gusto mo na mag-reply siya towards specific people lang. I'm going to leave this blank kasi we don't need it naman. And eto na yung laman ng email natin. So, may subject tayo, tracking number for order, ilagay natin yung order ID. Tapos yung body type, we can select either plain, which is plain text lang talaga, hindi siya magandang tingnan, or HTML, which looks significantly better. Tatanggalin ko muna to so that you can have an idea on how this would look plain text. So, hello, customer name siguro. Customer ID. Thank you for ordering from Trash Away Order Management. From Trash Away Corporation. Your order for order ID, your order with ID, hanap tayo ng order ID dito, is on its way to you. You can track it using this, you can track it on, let's say, FedEx, using this tracking number. Tapos, hanapin natin si tracking number natin. Okay. These are your order details. And then, hanapin natin yung AI na step natin. Ito, si analyze and return data in AI. So, itong bullet line items natin. If you have any questions, please feel free to reply to this email. Thanks, Crash Away Fulfillment. So, this is what it would look like pag plain lang. Change natin to plain ha. Kopya ko muna just in case it deselects. If we do that, i-test ko to ha, so that we can see what it would look like. So let us take a look here sa email ko. So ito yung pagmumukha niya. It's not the best. It's okay if hindi kayo maarte. Pero there are ways to make it better. And of course, ito, di ba, problema to kasi HTML na siya. Hindi siya compatible. So what we will do here, and this is a bit of a hack, This is something I didn't actually get taught. This is something I learned over the years. Look for a text to HTML converter. So, clear ko to. Oops. And then, i-paste ko. So, this is yung plain lang. This is where pwede mo siyang paartihin. So, let us put some spaces here. These are your order details. Space tayo. And then, yung ID, pwede nating i-bold. Tapos, yung sa FedEx natin, pwedeng gawin natin ng ano. If you take a look at FedEx tracking, may may way for you to just put a random tracking number and then kopyahin mo yung HTML dito. So if you see, your tracking number has can be included in the link for FedEx. So pwede nating kopyahin, insert or edit link. So lagay natin dito. And then kopyahin natin to ulit. Okay. So link na siya, 'di ba? Let's see, ano pang other ways na pagandahin to? Kahit ito na lang. So, hello, blah, blah. Thank you for ordering from Trash Away Corporation. And then, I think this is good enough. Kopyahin na natin to, itong HTML na to. And then, we edit our email. So, make sure that change mo yung body type to HTML. Tapos, edit natin to. Let's see kung kaya niya bang i-parse ito. Check lang natin, ha? Okay, so parang kailangan ulit test lang natin, just in case. Okay. So, nag-error na siya. This is when you will have to replace this manually. I'm sure there are other ways, pero that's one of the things that you have to get used to when you're automating. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it, and it's better to just update it manually. So, itong body natin, hello, customer ID. See, that's a weird part. It gives the actual HTML, pero ayaw niyang mag-tag. So let us clear this again. So Envirotech. Okay.
How many minutes pa do you need, Grace?
Just a few more minutes. I think maybe 5.
Yeah. Okay, it's okay. Maybe we
Okay.
can do overtime na lang for a couple of minutes.
Sure, no
Go
problem.
ahead.
Okay. I will just this. I will just redo this part. Kasi ayaw niya talagang mag-configure the way we want it to. So, try nating i-map ulit. Ayun. Now it's working. So let's copy this again and let's force it to accept what we are giving it. So hello. Ayun. Pinipilit niya talaga. Hello, customer ID. Sometimes the tool does not work the way you want it to. Okay. Huwag nating pilitin. Hello, customer ID. Your order is on its way. The order with ID, order ID is on its way. On its way. You may track it using this tracking number. Here are your order details. Yung AI, ano natin? Na pwede naman natin siyang HTML regardless. So, kopyahin nyo na lang yung nakita nyo sa kabilang tool kasi for some reason it isn't working right now. So, lagay tayo ng paragraph tags. And then, please feel free to message us. Please feel free to reply to this email for any questions regarding your order. And that's it. We can try to test it ulit. And there we have it. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Ito yung order details. And as you see, naka-bullet points na siya. There are many ways to make this fancier. You just have to make sure that you know the tool and you can experiment as much as you want, just as long as you are not deploying it on production. Yun yung important na part. So this is how you would automate just one part of the flow, right? So let me just present this ulit. Kita pa naman siguro yung screen ko. So this is how you would do that flow. Ito lang, si-notify the client lang. That's just one part of the flow. But if you actually map this problem, this is what it would look like. So my order management tayo, my email, when the email is received, tapos is to check if PO ba siya. Is it a PO? Then yes, you add it to the management sheet. If not, then you do nothing. And marami pang flows na kayang gawin. There's a lot of things going on here that you could either automate or you could optimize. So one major thing here is that optimization is not just automations. You can use AI, you can use different tools. Heck, you can even change who is in charge of a certain process. Those are things that an automation architect is able to think of. Kasi nakikita na nila kung ano ang magbibigay ng most business value. That's why that was really just the beginning. That was just a small part of what an automation architect can do. So, what now? What now, diba? These are things that you can start doing so that you can become an automation architect train or you can drive that same degree of business value. So first, and I'm just going to reiterate the things I already mentioned earlier. First, think in systems, not in quick win one-off projects. So, isipin mo yung buong sistema instead of just one small portion of it. Yung kanina, it was just one small portion of it, but it plays into a whole system kasi. It plays into into this whole workflow. But if it is something that was just unnecessary, then it's better to leave it be. Next is to learn to read API docs and tool descriptions. Yung sa kanina, naalala mo na hindi gumagana yung si Zapier. Actually, that would usually work. Sometimes talaga, the tool just does not work the way you want it to. And that's why you need to know when it is supposed to work that way or not. You're supposed to know what you can ask from the tool, what the tool can do, what it is capable of doing pa aside from what you have already added in. And then another big thing is to understand the basics. I really want to point this out to everyone. Please understand the basics. Don't let AI replace your learning. When you use AI as much as possible, dapat yung something na alam mo nang gawin. Because if you let AI just do it for you, you're not learning anything. The friction of trying to understand how something gets done is lost because you're just letting AI do the thinking for you. So it's okay to use AI to make your workflow faster, but please do not let it replace your learning because your brain is the most important part of you. And then last but not the least is to drive business value instead of deliverables. So yun nga, similar dito sa thinking systems, make sure that you are thinking of how to increase the value of the business, increase your value in the business, whether that's your client's business or your own, instead of thinking of just delivering work. So that is it for the automation architect presentation ko. So one thing actually that I would like to mention here. So sandali lang, medyo may technical difficulties lang. So let me just okay. There. I think that's working again. So here's the thing, I spent years learning how to automate by myself. Actually, around 4 years yata, to be exact. Malamang kasi hindi ako comsci, hindi ako coder, hindi ako IT. I was none of that. I was a STEM graduate. I was a STEM student. It took another 2 years for me to actually learn process mapping or to read API docs, etc. I took the long way around. And I bet a lot of people in my shoes would be like, why did you spend 6 years learning something that wasn't even paying you? And yung sagot ko lang is I was endlessly curious. But here's the thing, you don't have to. You have people like us who already went through this for you. So let us help you. In collaboration with FHMoms, we're actually launching a 3-week level 1 course. I believe starting yun next week. Next week na siya. So it's a level 1 course where you will learn how to go from zero to automation hero talaga. You don't have to go through what I went through. Na super tagal ko. 3 weeks to. 3 to 4 hours na instructor-led live learning. And it starts next Saturday, March 14. I'll also be the one to lead those classes. In the first week, we're going to teach workflow mapping. Yung talaga, I really emphasize this. This is really where a lot of freelancers freeze when asked to do. I admit I also froze when I was asked to do that the first time around. I've been there and it took me a while to actually learn. So one big thing that I want to do is to help people learn how to do these workflow mapping. The second week naman, ang focus is to understand APIs and how to read documentations. So para ma-maximize ang technical knowledge nyo without actually studying computer science. And the third week is about applying everything that we learned to create systemic automations that drive business value. So kanina, 'di ba, yung pinademo ko sa inyo na automation, that's just one part. So ideally, you would be able to make the whole system, the whole management workflow na I showed you, yung process map natin. You can apply per module naman if feel nyo na need lang ng supplementary information. Like say, for example, alam mo na yung process mapping pero hindi mo alam yung APIs, pwede lang. It's 2,000 per module. But if you want the full structured learning talaga, we offer all 3 modules at 4,000 pesos only, meaning may libreng isang module for those who want to take the full level. So for details on this, please, I think sina Mami Ina, si Mami MK, yung details on how to sign up for this. I believe my
Yes,
waitlist
yes.
tayo. Yeah, my waitlist depending on how many people we can include sa course.
Right.
So, yun lang
Ayan.
yahat.
So,
I yield back to you, Mami
you
MK.
can follow Mami Grace, no, sa kanilang LinkedIn. Ayan, just search for Flow Helper. You can also connect to Mami Grace Cuevas 'no, sa kanyang, personal LinkedIn na profile. So ayan, now is the time for us to have a Q&A 'no, and I'm pretty sure sobrang bitin na bitin talaga yung ating quick na discussion and then demo 'no. And nafi-feel ko na yung iba parang, na-tense na sila kaagad or, simula pa lang overwhelmed na sila. Especially if you are not yet no user of any AI na tools, it will be overwhelming for sure, okay? Pero para doon sa mga gumagamit na ng iba't ibang mga AI tools, no, pero pang-generate lang talaga and all that, pero you are very familiar with some of the other tools, no, in terms of admin, in terms of email marketing, websites, etc. No, we feel na kakayanin naman, right? So by just looking at the workflow, sabi ko, okay. So what's nice about automation din talaga is all you have to do is just set it up at the beginning, and then after that, no, once na okay naman na, smooth naman na with wala ng any error, no, eh tuloy-tuloy na. Kumbaga sa ano ba yan? Sa una lang siya parang sasakit yung ulo mo and all, especially if it's your first time doing it. I could imagine if it's your first automation and then you're trying to figure out kung ano yung mali. Can you walk us through ano yung experience when it comes to, trying to figure out paano ko ba 'to i-automate? Alin ba dito yung una kong i-automate? Something like that.
I think lalo na nung sa'kin na hindi ako nagsimula ng Zapier, I was actually using a whole process management na ano, parang N8N. It was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
difficult. It did not work the way I wanted it to. It
Mm,
took me
mm,
around
mm.
maybe 1 week pa to get it to work. So it's perfectly
Talaga,
fine, everyone.
talaga. And what's more overwhelming pa 'no, the way na nakikita ko because, I'm following a lot of, creators and at the same time, mga AI enthusiasts 'no, when it comes to the tools that they are posting, the things that they are already building, it's very exciting. Pero at the same time, sobrang confusing din talaga. That's why I always remind myself 'no, na kung ano yung kung ano yung needs ko at saka ng clients ko in terms of AI and automation 'no, that's the only thing na gagawin ko. But then I'll make sure na I get to learn 'no, from other freelancers, from other entrepreneurs 'no, and the people that I follow 'no, kung ano na yung mga trends. Kasi for example, just this week or last week 'no, grabe yung update. Sabi ko, "Ano ba naman 'to, nakakahilo na." So parang may AI fatigue din, kung iisipin. Pero what's nice about, Zapier 'no, and the other AI automation tools, na ginagamit niyo na sa company 'no, maybe we can talk about, Flowhelper naman, Grace 'no. So I think hindi tayo nagkaroon ng opportunity to talk about it. Tell us more about Flowhelper. When did you guys, start, the agency 'no, and kamusta ang growth? How many clients or who are the clients that you are serving?
Definitely, Mommy MK. Use of Flow Helper, we are an AI automations agency. So partially, minsan, we do some part-time work for clients, but a lot of the time we do placement work. And we started formally no, I think late 2024. But before that, we were actually teaching people, mga kakilala lang namin, for free. And we were placing them with clients for free. And they're really doing well where they are now. Pero we made it more formal ngayon kasi nga we're noticing na ang dami ng mga automation specialists ngayon na hindi nag-level up yung hanggang ano lang, paggagawa lang ng automations and the like. So that is what we're noticing. That's why nag-formalize kami. And we're also hoping that with this collaboration with FHMoms, you can also produce more and more automation architects para mas nag-level up yung skills natin as the tech uh, resources ng mga offshore na clients or onshore na clients natin. So yan yung
Exactly. I
state
think
of the
that's the advantage din 'no, of, being a freelancer. Kumbaga, we're built for this, AI era. I mean, kumbaga we're challenged to adapt no with what's going on. And unlike other industries na talagang nahihirapan din talaga sila no, pero for us if you've been working from home for the past years no before na mag-boom yung AI, you already know no na this is something na kailangan mo talagang aralin, kailangan mo talagang mag-upskill, mag-reskill. Pero iba talaga yung wake up call no nitong AI na na boom. So ngayon 'no, now that we have Zapier, we have Make 'no, N8N, ayan. I wanted to understand 'no, ano ba yung parang pinaka-best na parang path for me to take. I understand that we have a course, 'di ba? I wanted to know na kung gagawin ko 'to ng mag-isa, 'no, ano yung puwedeng mangyari sa'kin versus kapag tinake ko 'tong course. Kasi ako, eto I wanted to be parang I don't want to have a bias just because, we're doing this course and all that. Kasi to be honest, if gusto ko talagang magtipid, there are a lot of YouTube contents, no? A lot of creators then who are teaching in N8N, no? Who are providing mga trainings and all that. Sabi ko nga, yung mga ganitong webinars, hindi na masyadong pinapansin. Pero I'm so happy na maraming umattend ngayon. That's great news, 'di ba? Pero ang point ko is, tawag dito, ano ba yung benefit, no, ng pag-join sa isang course which is what we're offering versus them no learning on their own or following different kasi kung ako yung tatanungin since that's what I'm doing no I attended a lot of AI na mga programs no sa Alibaba pa sa Meta, Microsoft lahat ng mga tools nila pinagtuturo nila no wala pa sa ganitong level which are the tools that you will be teaching. Pero pag kinarga ko pa yan sa utak ko, parang hindi ko na yata kakayanin. And then, masipag ako manood ng mga videos, pero pinipili ko lang din kung ano yung need ko. So, dito ba, paano ko masasabi na itong tools at saka itong AI automation na to is talagang makakatulong sa journey ko or sa career ko as a virtual assistant, not really as an AI na specialist, but, a general VA specialist.
Nakatulong talaga siya, Mommy MK. Kasi, napansin ko sa mga job posts recently, lahat nagsasabi na dapat marunong mag-Zapier, dapat marunong mag-Make or N8N. Yun yung napansin ko sa mga new na posts. I think, dahil
So,
nag-level
parang
up na nga yung
given
technology.
given na yung mga AI tools na pang-generate 'no,
Oo.
hindi na siya parang, well, ano na siya, kumbaga yun na yung new na Google, yun na yung
Mm,
mga bagong search tools 'no. So, itong tatlo na 'to, ito yung parang combo na madalas hinahanap, is that right?
yes. Yan yung madalas
Mm.
hinahanap with VAs.
Oo, oo. So, ibig sabihin the clients understand 'no, gaano ka-important 'tong mga tools na 'to and then most likely, yun talaga yung kino-consider nila or na-consider na nila for their company in terms of automation. So, widely used na 'tong tatlo na 'to. Well, alam ko naman kasi even my husband and then some of the clients that I'm working with, they're already using this three and then si high level then of course 'no. So, ayan. Maybe you have questions in the chat. Actually, may nagtatanong about certificate. This webinar is for free. However, the certificate has an admin fee of 99 pesos, all because it's automated then. So we're hosting it using high level and it's a super expensive CRM tool. So I'm really sorry we have to, ask for a little amount to compensate for the cost. And then pasensya na kung may mga hindi naka-join if you will be watching this recording, no. Very limited lang yung slots dito sa ating Zoom. That's why it's important na whenever we have paid programs and then ayan, certificate, no, na you have to pay for a little amount whenever we have events. Maybe you can also support us so that magtuloy-tuloy yung mga ganitong free webinars and collaborations natin. Okay? So, ayan. Nakalagay na sa chat box, no, yung link on how you can claim your certificate. That's not required, only if you want to, if gusto nyong ma-add, no, sa inyong portfolio. May mga questions ba tayo? Ayan. Okay. Is it applicable for beginner? Definitely. No, beginner to advance yung mga topics na Grace.
Yes, definitely beginner friendly siya.
Okay. Sige, meron bang gusto pang magtanong? Okay. Ito. Would you suggest the full module for a beginner na very willing naman matuto? Ako, I highly recommend you getting the full course kasi so to be honest sobrang bilis ng development ng AI ngayon. Okay? You really have to catch up. I mean, hindi ka malulugi, walang kakulangan. Kung aralin mo man yung buo na, mas mabibitin ka pa. And at the same time, baka pagkatapos mo, right after mong matapos yung course, no, may mga bago na yung features, pagdating ng dulo-dulo na part, may mga isasama na yung mga bago, no, na live, yun ang i-discuss. We don't know. Kasi sobrang grabe yung updates ng lahat. And we're talking about not just one AI tool, but 3 or 4 nga ata. Baka may hindi pa tayo na include dito. So, if you're asking naman, no, especially dun sa mga newbies, if you're not yet a ChatGPT user, Gemini, Claude, you don't know how to use this AI na mga tools, don't worry because I'll be doing rin naman a webinar, no, for that, which is super basic so that magkaroon naman kayo ng basic na understanding din, no, ng iba't ibang mga generative AI na tools. Para kapag dito, 'di ba, at least you're confident na okay na kayo dun. Ito na lang yung iintindihin nyo, yung pang-automation. Kasi equally important yan. Kumbaga, in the future, pag nagkaroon pa tayo ng ibang mga AI na webinars, baka pag-build na yan or pag-train ng mga bots. Kasi iba pa yan eh. This is automation. Iba pa yung sa bots, iba pa yung AI employees, no? And so many other things pa that you have to learn about AI kasi nga palawak siya ng palawak. So, we really have to do a lot of catch up din talaga. Okay, ayan, sige. Para sa anong niche ng VA tong course, aspiring VA? For ano to? AI. Ayan, AI na specialist. Okay? O kaya, if you are a general, so just remember na if you are a general virtual assistant, somewhat you're expected rin to do particular na mga tasks that involves different AI na tools. Okay? So if you are an aspiring na VA, best if you can watch, no, yung isa pa nating free training na ilo-launch din namin soon. That's free. It's gonna be free certificate din as well. So, hanapin nyo yon or bantayan nyo yon kasi probably by next week ilo-launch namin siya. Pag kinaya ni Mami Ina, ayan, yung nagmo-moderate sa atin ngayon. Kasi dapat doon talaga kayo nagsisimula. Okay, pwede daw bang installment yung payment? Pwede ba, Ina? I don't
Hindi
remember.
po
I think
eh.
meron na rin.
Kasi walang installment yung salig. Yung ating ginagamit na
Right, right.
payment,
Oo, oo.
weekly. Pero kung
Yes.
halimbawa,
The recording of
Paymaya
this
siguro,
video, yeah. So
kung
the recording
select
of
nila.
this video will be in YouTube. So make sure to follow both FHMoms Facebook page and then YouTube channel. Okay? Ayan. So ipopost namin yung recorded na copy. Don't worry. Okay? Ipopost natin yan so that mabalikan nyo. Okay. Sige, sige. Ayan. So meron pa bang questions before we wrap up? Okay. Siguro Grace, maybe you can you go back to the course? Ang dami nilang questions dun eh. Yung course module, maybe yan yung ano natin. So yung week 1 natin is yan, introduction, no, ng process optimization, workflow mapping. What does it mean? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng process optimization and then workflow mapping in a nutshell?
Yeah, so process optimization is figuring out where in a workflow are
Mm,
there opportunities to improve. So yan yung
okay.
major part ng process optimization. And maging combination siya ng AI automations and also like pag-shift lang minsan ng mga parts ng process. So, kaya
Mhm.
important yung workflow mapping dyan. And I think may
Right.
nagtanong rin about tools na covered ng course na to. For the workflow mapping, ang gagamitin lang is any workflow mapping tool. In my case, usually sa Miro. Miro yung gamit ko kasi mas mabilis siya and maganda yung free plan niya. So,
Mhm.
yan yung sa
Miro
ano.
is the ano 'no, is the mind mapping
Mhm.
Process.
mind mapping
Mind
tool.
mapping
So
tool.
sa
Yes.
Canva, ang katumbas niya ay ano na nga ba 'yun? Yung white ano 'to, whiteboard ba?
Whiteboard. Mhm.
Yun
Parang
yung
Miro
katumbas
lang
niya.
din, oo.
Oo,
Yeah.
oo. So, yeah. So, basically 'no, ang ibig sabihin nitong week 1, paano siya makakatulong sa inyo and sa client niyo. So, masuwerte kayo kapag ang client na nakuha niyo may maayos na workflow, alam niya kung ano yung pasikot-sikot, alam niya kung, saan makikita rin yung mga SOPs niya at kung may SOPs ba siya, 'di ba? Kasi kung wala, lagot, okey? Matagal kayo automate niyan ng back-end, okay? So mahirap 'yan, alright? That's why it's important for you 'no, to understand ano-ano yung mga, puwedeng ma-automate doon sa operations na meron siya, okay? For example, okay, kapag nag-enroll kayo sa isang course or bumili kayo ng isang item, kapag na-purchase nyo yan, merong magti-trigger or merong magse-send sa inyo na automatic na email. That's the simplest, most common na automation. Okay? Pero, after, for example, 1 week, no, makalipas ang isang linggo, may mag-email na naman. Okay? O yung ibang mga AI tools, meron pa yung mga send ng SMS, mga ganon. Pero wala yata tayo sa Philippines pa. Pero sa ibang bansa or sa mga clients niyo, most likely may ganon. So, yung mga ganong eksena, okay? Iba pa yun yung sa customer, di ba? Sa customer ng client nyo. Pero paano kapag sa back-end siya? Maybe you can share, Grace, yung mga case study natin dyan kung ano yung mga example na ino-automate sa back-end. Ayan. For example, sa apprenticeship din namin sa FHMoms, yung cover letter at saka resume critique namin, in-automate din namin yon. So, the moment na in-upload nyo yung mga resume nyo at saka cover letter nyo, magsasend naman siya ng feedback. Parang gano'n, okey. Ano pa ba yung mga naka-automate natin?
Yung mga natatanggap nila na email,
Emails 'no,
yes,
ayan
'pag
usually
nag-sign up
gano'n.
sila, may
Oo, oo.
purchase sila, ganyan.
Mhm, mhm. Ayan. Grace, do you want to add something?
Yeah, marami ring yung sa mga sales na ano. So, pag-automate kung sino yung eligible for a certain service, things like that.
Hmm.
Ina-automate yun sa back-end kasi malamang,
Yeah,
di
yeah.
ba, if you're going to sign up for something tapos hindi ka pala qualified or hindi pala siya
Right,
tugma
right,
sa'yo, sayang naman
right.
sa ano,
Pati yung ano
effort.
pala, pati yung for example you took let's say a quiz, ganyan. Tapos 'pag pumasa ka, anong sasabihin niya? Kapag, bumagsak ka, anong sasabihin niya or anong mangyayari? Something like that. So, that's why depende sa client. For example, ako personally, I, have clients 'no, na ano sila, mga coaches, ayan. And then very very similar with what we're doing sa FHMoms. Yung iba naman sa e-commerce sila. So bawat clients, bawat businesses, iba-iba ng operations 'yan, iba-iba ng workflow 'yan. Iba-iba rin yung mga kagustuhan nilang mangyari. That's why it's important for you as an AI na specialist 'no, na very familiar ka with the tools that you are using and at the same time ano yung mga emerging pa na mga tools kasi you don't know baka meron namang mas mga mabibilis na way, okay. Tapos your stock 'no, doon sa kung ano man yang ginagamit mo. So, 'wag tayong kampante when it comes to tools, especially if you will be working with multiple clients na merong mga iba't ibang preference when it comes to tools. I'm pretty sure familiar diyan sila Grace since they are serving a lot of, international clients 'no, different markets 'no, yung sine-serve nila. So, ito namang module number 2, understanding API. What does API mean?
Yun, so yung API is para siyang menu. ng anong kaya mong kukunin, kaya mong
Mm.
i-request from a tool, from an integrated tool. And
Mhm, mhm.
ang biggest tool niyan for practice sa mga beginners is Postman. Postman is kind of parang siyang staging tool for APIs. So,
Mhm.
talagang magiging beginner friendly siya kasi you won't learn about APIs pag nag-YouTube ka lang or if you're just experimenting on your own.
Mhm, mhm. Ayan. Waiting for another free course webinars for aspiring VA, especially medical VA. Ayan, if you wanted to learn about medical VA naman, we have RevConnect Solutions, no? Nandun naman yung mga medical VA na mga topics, okay? Punta na lang kayo dyan. I think we're good. I think we're good. May na-miss ba akong questions nila? Maybe you can chat ulit if na-miss ko yung questions nyo. Mukhang wala naman na. We're good, we're good. For construction VA, wala po. Right now, wala po right now. Okay? So, ayan lang, mukhang wala na. Thank you so much, everyone. Ayan, sana kahit papano nagkaroon kayo ng idea, no, about AI automation. I know we have very limited time. Pero sana makapag-enroll kayo sa ating course, no, with Flowhelper. O di naman kaya ay makapag self-study kayo. At least nagkaroon kayo ng idea na yung mga tools na pwede nyong aralin on your own are, ayan, Zapier, Make, Make, no? And then, what's the other one? N8N. Okay? So, ayan. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye! Ay, wait. Mag-picture pala tayo. Maybe you can turn on your camera. Sorry. Kasi titingnan ko kapag, ayan, participative ang lahat, pwede nating ulitin ang mga ganitong free webinars.
Yes.
Pero kapag hindi nagpa-picture, baka hindi na natin to ulitin. Sige. Charot lang. Okay. Of course, we will have more free webinars like this. Okay? So, abang lang kayo kasi medyo mahirap i-organize. Sobrang busy ng lahat. So, at least we already know na hindi talaga to madali, no? Mabusisi, kailangang aralin ng maigi, no? So, alam nyo na, hindi na lang to parang kagaya sa ChatGPT na pag tinype mo, yun na yun. Okay? So, may mga konti-konti pang gagalawin. Alright? So, everyone, Ina, maybe you can help us with the screenshot.
Okay, please turn on your cameras.
Ayan.
Okay, 74
Mahihayin
times.
kayo ha, hindi kayo nagtanong.
Okay.
One.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Another one for page 2. Okay, another one ha. Smile. Smile na lang ulit. 1, 2, 3, smile. Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.